This is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
Oh, I remember there was one other thing I had to say. Caitlin joined the choir last Wednesday, so be praying for the soprano section in the choir. I'm not saying good or bad, I'm just saying pray for the soprano section, okay? All right. There are many verses in the Bible that refer to God's people as sheep. And I remember growing up in ministry and going to seminary, and there was always this discussion about how, dumb sheep were and sheep are helpless and all of this stuff. And really, as we talked a little bit about last Sunday, it's really not quite true. Sheep are actually pretty intelligent. They're actually a little more intelligent than most other animals, but they are incredibly passive. They're not. There's nothing aggressive about sheep. Every once in a while, some sheep might get mad at another sheep, kind of like a Baptist. But they're relatively passive. They don't fight. You never see sheep fighting. You see goats fighting, but you don't see sheep fighting. So sheep aren't really aggressive. But and they tend to do the same thing every day. They eat and they poop, and then they eat and then they sleep, and that's just kind of a sheep's life. They have no ambition to speak of. But one of the things that when we talk about the sheep, it's more important to understand how God's perspective is, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But I'm always amused when we get compared to sheep, because we tend to think that that's an insult, and it's not that at all. Sheep is just a way of saying that God loves His sheep and He will care for them in spite of their ways and in spite of their limitations. Sheep are so non-aggressive that when they're in a pen, if a wolf got into a pen, the sheep they wouldn't run around in the pen. They would actually bunch up in a corner and basically, I guess, just wait for the wolf to jump on it, And I always think, what if I'd be in the back of the pack? Take Harry. He's meatier. Yeah. Plus, he's a political idiot. So, eat Harry, But sheep aren't like that. Sheep have this where they stick together, and there's a bond between the sheep. But more importantly, there's a bond between the sheep and the shepherd.
On behalf of Dan Hurst and the Open Class, we want to thank you for watching. We hope it was a blessing.